Hey folks, what is going on? RedMaster here, and welcome back to the episode of Cards and Castles Known Combos, where today we are going to be taking a look at a deck that's been kind of under the radar for the most part, especially with the modern meta taking shape, things like Mystic Rat's No Interaction, so on and so forth, kind of taking all the prevalent spots. But this deck is still fairly strong, and one that I think can contend pretty well with a lot of the decks that we are seeing today. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the deck list for Nature's Necromancy right now. Alright folks, and here is of course the Nature's Necromancy list. Now obviously you didn't pick up on the name of this deck. This deck is actually pretty much focused around Reanimate and sort of using that to its full potential. Obviously Reanimate is a very strong card, and one that I've kind of stayed away from merely because I personally was not able to sort of use it to the best of its capacity. I knew what it could do, but personally I couldn't really play it to the best of its ability, so that's why I kind of stayed off of it. But I wanted to kind of take another shot at it, and I ended up looking at the Viking Druids for a sort of nature necromancy based deck. But with that being said, obviously the point of this deck is Reanimate, but to help fuel that along, we have a bit more tools to do so. This deck does actually run a pretty Mystic Journey heavy side engine, if you will. A lot of initiative stuff going on in this deck. Things like Rat King, Dragon Knight, Beastmaster. And if you notice, a lot of the initiative in this deck is focused around summoning out additional units from a specific unit. Obviously, Dragon Knight will pop out Faithful Drakes. Beastmaster will pop out 2 Beasts. Rat King, Mystic Journey, obviously the Mystic Rat combo is very prevalent in this deck as well. Although, with the Rats, you can't really use that with Reanimate because obviously the units have to be at least 1 gold or higher. Rats are, of course, 0 gold, so obviously they don't fit too well in that build. But regardless, obviously you still have Rat King, Mystic Journey in here. And you've got some other things too, Mordock, Leanna, maybe not as, prevalent to use on a Reanimate, but can still get some additional units out. You've also got Rally, which of course is just a great sort of tool to pair alongside a Reanimate. Obviously you pop out 3 Peasants, all fairly lower in stats. You trade them into maybe a big threat on castle. You pop the Reanimate, and you've got yourself a counter push going. So that is sort of all tying into the fact that we want to make this Reanimate bigger. We want to make this Reanimate as impactful as possible, and that can be done through summoning multiple units, from Dragon Knight, Beastmaster, and Beastmaster as well. I forgot to mention, of course, when he dies himself, he can sack all the beasts. So obviously what you could do, maybe mess around with a few beasts, get their attacks in, sack the Beastmaster, lose all the beasts, and there is maybe 3 or 5 additional Reanimate summons if you've got it, if you got the Mystic Journey before then too. So again, certainly something to kind of keep in mind there. But, of course, to fuel this along, we do have a couple of other additional tools, obviously, to help us with just, other stuff in general, whether it be draw, good stuff, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and go through some of the other tools now, just so that way we can mark them out of the way. Obviously, Bestial Rage, great to have Rampage in any sort of Druid deck, Lumberjack for draw. Faithful Drake, I do want to kind of take a quick note of, because normally you'd see Hassan Sadi Guard in the 2 gold slot when you're running a Reanimate deck. However, I decided to kind of break off from that norm, really because what Guard does, and I know that Guard also works with Mystic Journey as well, and you can pretty much swap him in for the Faithful Drake here and see, some more Reanimate food, but I decided to go with the Faithful Drake because I want to throw a little bit of mind games into the deck, if you will. It's not a lot of mind games here, but, hear me out. With Faithful Drake, you don't really think of the Drake as being in a Reanimate deck. However, Guard will certainly ring some alarm bells with players, especially if you're in a Viking deck, and that's, you keep them held back, that you're going to have a Reanimate up your tool. So what Faithful Drake can do for this deck, obviously, if it all goes well, the ideal situation is you pop Faithful Drake out, you push him, you get aggressive, the opponent maybe can respond with a Questing Knight or other, 2 gold, 3/3, or other early game unit in general for that matter, and, the important part here is that they probably won't be able to kill the Faithful Drake with that unit. That way, when you have Faithful Drake on your turn, if you don't have the Reanimate, you can, of course, hit castle, be aggressive. Or if you do have Reanimate, you could sack Drake into something like that Questing Knight or that, Miner that was probably weakened because obviously you are a 2/4. You don't they don't want you to keep that around. So they're going to hit it thinking that, hey, he doesn't really have anything for it. Definitely not just going to expect to reanimate from the Faithful Drake. So let me damage it. Then you could sack your Drake, obviously, into a reanimate, and that could lead into things like Wraith, Horseman, whatever the case may be. So it is a pretty sneaky little 2-drop that can turn into a much more dangerous set with reanimate. Obviously, not as many because you don't have the guard, you don't have the multiple bodies, but I do think that's, worth it. Just so that way they're not expecting the reanimate. It kind of, conceals the fact that you're running reanimate just a bit more. And that's kind of what I found through some of the games here. That, really Drake isn't much of a, they're not expecting Reanimate to follow a Faithful Drake, so yeah, I just decided to kind of throw it in here. And it is a beefy 2 gold unit, of course. You're going to be able to do some Reanimate things with this regardless, so that's why he is in here over the guards. But of course, if you want, obviously the guards work just as well. If you want to swap it in for more Journey synergy or just having those bodies for the Reanimate, the trade is perfectly fine there. Moving on, you've got the Journey, of course, at 3. You've got a lot of initiative tools in here, so we're going to max that out. Going into Blacksmith, you've got, well, Blacksmith and Armory, obviously the global buffs. Freezing Pillar as well, just another annoying little piece of stall for my boards, really, if I can't deal with something just yet. If I want to set up a Lightning, if I want to get some more Reanimate value set up, pop a pillar down, and it's just annoying. It's just annoying as hell. Then you got, of course, start of the show, 3 Reanimates taking center stage. Is going to be obviously what we're, trying to achieve here. A little bit of a max Reanimate, if you will, hoping to get that in there. Then you've got, of course, Rat King, really to kind of synergize well with the Journey. Just having the Mystic Rat package in here, it can be annoying and can be devastating if not prepared well for. I've already mentioned Armory is part of the global buff package. Centaur, no Druid deck really runs without Centaur nowadays. Just that extra companion package helps me get rid of buildings or other sort of range units that I really can't get to otherwise in this deck. Well, aside from Rat King, Mystic Journey, obviously. But then you've also, moving on, got Dragon Knight. We've already mentioned Dragon Knight, part of the Mystic Journey synergy here, and, hopefully getting some reanimate value off of her. Lightning Blade, obviously the strong Viking card that no Viking deck runs without nowadays. Again, the 2/2, Lightning 3, just the extra chain package is useful. Running Shaman for some more draw support in the deck, and obviously, again, another Mystic Journey target, so we like to see that. Rally pairs well with Reanimate here. I mean, getting those 3 bodies out, we're going to max that as at 3. Obviously, you want to have the most Mystic, not Mystic Journey value. You want to have the most Reanimate value as possible there. So we've got that. Temple as well, maxed out. Again, just going to provide some more chain for the deck. I feel like chain could also be just something that pairs well with Rat King, Mystic Journey, and just making your units that more difficult to deal with. Beastmaster, of course, you mentioned here, mainly to provide some more Reanimate targets. But moving into the late game, we've also got Mordock, just a solid Mordock addition. 3 Yenaroth, of course, that also stalls well. Mystic Journey synergy again, so great to have Yenaroth here maxed out. And 1 Leanna, because I feel like, I had the space for an additional card here. I didn't want to max out on anything that really was in the 2 ofs. So I went with a Leanna just for some Spirit Link stall tactics, perhaps, or Spirit Link just creating a big unit through the Spirit Link blockers. So, yeah, that is the deck list. But let's go ahead and jump into the games now and see how well the deck actually performs. Alright, folks, so jumping into game number 1 here. We have a bit of a shaky start with the Pillar and Armory in hand. I'm going to go ahead and try to swap both of those away. I'll keep Faithful Drake. Worst comes to worst, we can coin out the Centaur turn 3 to make something. Journey Mordock, though, not what you kind of want to see to follow up off the mulligan, so that's going to be a bit disappointing. Hopefully we can find something to pair that Mystic Journey with, because nothing in our hand currently does, unfortunately, unless, we pull Horseman from Mordock, but that's several turns away. But we'll see what we can get done. Going up against Mono Ninja here, I'm not sure what they are going to be bringing to the table. That's certainly something there. We're going to go ahead and start off with that Faithful Drake, of course, that, 2 gold body, again, something that we kind of want to throw out. It doesn't tell us, our opponent, that, we've got the Reanimate, so they might be thinking, oh, maybe Dragon, but, I mean, then again, blue-white dragons. Alright, well, where do we go from here is the real question. I don't got a Beast for the Rage boost. I could coin out Centaur if something vicious appears in the back, but Mono Ninja, I'm kind of thinking to myself, what am I really going to be seeing that's super impactful. Banshee, okay, hi. That's something cool. I really appreciate you being here, but not what I'm looking for. Against my better judgment, I might go ahead and plop this armory down to maybe force two of the guards to go in. Okay, he just pulled Vanish off the Banshee, so you know he's going to be vanishing one of these guards. Alright, that's disappointing. We'll at least probably get two guards out of the trade. That's why I put the armory down in the first place, hoping that he'd have to sack maybe more than just a guard here, especially with this guard so out of position. But like you said, we're going to vanish that, produce two more at the cost of 0 gold, and wipe my Drake away with that. Yep. But then what's the follow-up going to be for the remaining 2 gold? It's going to be a brewery. Okay, nothing too impactful, nothing too special. I might be able to get away with playing a centaur here, a bear, a centaur that's not a companion in this case. He did push it up into the right area. We don't take much damage from it. So we might as well hit it, maybe because this is how his engine works, for all I know. I have no idea. I'm going to see Rally. That's fine. It seems like a Reanimate deck, but you're missing the Viking portion so far. We've seen Guards, we've seen Rally. Two very prime cards for that kind of deck to flow. I'll go with the Shaman here for draw. I'm in no rush and pick up another Centaur. Alright, we're really getting the companion portion, despite this being a Reanimate initiative deck. Cool. We'll get the side support here. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not mad. You're mad. We'll probably go into... I want to say Blacksmith next time, but I have no idea what we're going to be seeing. Badger makes an appearance. Okay, that I can assume is going to probably stay back. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. We do pull our own Rally, which is nice. I think what I'm going to do, though, for the time being, is just hold off. Play a Blacksmith to make my peasants a bit scarier when they come out. We'll see how he handles the Shaman 2 that I put on face here. We'll take some early damage. The Ninjas, of course, do concern me. He might just run this up. I don't think he's got OTK potential here. If he does, props to him, but I don't think it's enough unless Katana Multi-Strike is waiting for us. Katana Multi-Strike and some sort of swiftness. But it looks like none of those are going to be in the deck at the moment for us. Alright. I do think I'm going to hit the brewery here just to kind of lower this Demon Hunter down a bit. Let's go ahead and get some peasant action up in here. See if maybe we can't find the Badger, which we clearly don't. What am I gonna do about the Blacksmith? I think I might hold that where it is. I don't mind that this Demon Hunter is gonna get a little bit of trading into the peasants here. Okay, so that actually is face damage. I should have put one to block here. I wasn't thinking about where the Badger would go, so that's very problematic actually. Now that I look at it, if I just played it right into his hand, no. All right, looks like I didn't. Let's say I might have, but looks like I didn't. Ooh, Colossus for the Shaman takedown. That's interesting. I didn't think the mono side would run a lot of that kind of stuff. But hey, I could be surprised, right? We don't hit the Shaman. Curious. Shoot, we actually don't have enough. Okay, now we do. But I say we need to pull a Wraith out of the Mordok if we want to get rid of the Demon Hunter, so that way we don't like die to it unexpectedly. We'll just move into a Shaman to hit face away from the Colossus. Again, surprised he didn't make the trade there. He could have. I guess maybe some people don't realize that Colossus can still attack even though it is summoned. It is still a unit technically. You don't need the monster to attack with the Colossus, so maybe a miscalculation there. I do think the game though is just about wrapped up. As I say that, Swords comes out. Yeah, okay, not really against the right target. Needs to take out the Wraith if he wants to kind of stay alive in the game here. And Sniper is not going to do it unless he body blocks with it, in which case, yeah, okay. That's fair. I do think, yeah, no, the game is still over anyway, as we demonstrate here with the... Oh, that has flying, so it doesn't. Ah, fair. I did forget that interaction. Flying does not go over flying. Can I... I'm pretty sure I cannot, but just in case, let's put in the Drake stuff here, the Dragon Knights, so we have some kind of use off the Mystic Journeys. This should be game over, honestly, though. I don't see him building anything to kind of take this down, unless a monster comes out, trades with the Peasant, and uses Colossus to clear up the Centaur. Despite that, though, I mean, Dragon Knight's going to come in, slap for 4, we Journey or we Centaur, and that's going to be the rest of the damage. And yeah, I think he knows it's over, so that will be the game. Not bad. I was expecting maybe more of the Reanimate portion, or the Mystic Journey for that matter, but we just see a lot of Centaurs that game. So why don't we just hop into a second one and see if maybe we still can get a little bit of a Reanimate play out of this deck yet. Alright, folks, so jumping into the second match here, we got a bit of a better start with Rat King, Temple. Maybe we should have actually subbed out the Temple, now that I think about it. We can make do with it, I think. We do have a Reanimate in our hands, so that's fun to see. Meanwhile, opponents got all the Lumberjack support in the world. Fantastic stuff there. You love to see it. I think we are just going to go ahead and simply clear out a couple of them with the Rat King. He is running Pirate Druid, so I'm not sure what he's packing just yet. Ideally, I would like to have him keep the Rat King alive, but he's going to recognize the potential for Mystic Journey and not Mystic Journey. Yeah, Mystic Journey. He has the potential for that. Shut it down. We draw terribly, for being completely honest. 2 Yenaroth, a Bestial Rage, a Temple that we can't use, a Mordok we can't use. At least he's setting up as well. Looks like we're both in a bit of a setup stalemate. We will draw our own armory for turn 5, which is fantastic. So now we got a little extra power to these bad boys. We'll put the Temple soon down as well, so that way whatever he throws out, if it is a bigger boy, we'll be able to maybe do some, chain rats, take it out. Not going to push. There's no reason to push. He'll onslaught. Okay, that's fine. I'm completely okay with that. It is just giving us more time to set up. I'll go ahead and do the Temple, because, why not? I feel that's going to be the better play to make, because we can always play blacks with maybe plus a cheaper Bestial Rage if we really want to. I don't think we need to. It's a shame these rats don't get any value off the Reanimate, but that's okay. We do pull a Lumberjack. Let's go ahead and take some initial chip damage here. The Cannoneer concerns me, mainly because that's a worrying sign of potentially green-white range. Stuff like Cannoneer, Sharpshooter paired with the scope, sit back, do nothing, and bop your face every turn. And that's going to be a little bit of a problem, especially since we don't have the Mystic Rat that we really want to deal with that range. He's going to go put Robins into the Rat. Titan Watcher up front clears off our... Okay, we do have Rat King. I don't pull Journey, though. You know what? That's still okay. Because I think... Unless... Well, I can do that. I will also go ahead and let's spook him a little bit. Let's maybe kind of tease that we do have the Mystic Journey for Rat King potentially, although I have 2 gold. I could have used it if I had it. Shit. Alright, so I think that bluff's gonna be called. It's fine. That's fine. But yeah, really the one thing that does kind of worry me at this point in the game is if that Cannoneer is going to be picking up something like a Scope or a Phantom Strike and just continually bop off face. Centaur comes in. Okay, followed by a second Centaur, so that's going to get rid of the Armory. That's completely fine. I don't really think that that's going to matter so much. I have to see how he trades the units here. He spent... Ugh. Oh. Gross. Gross unit. Gross unit does gross thing. That's not sticking around, though. Tell you right now, though, that is not sticking around in the slightest. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to let the Centaur do a bit of work in the back here. But hopefully I can avoid that as best as I can. Taking out the Scope Cannoneer is probably the big thing that's important. Actually, if the Centaur is kept alive, I might... well, I mean, I should have the Blacksmith die then. I'd say I could do like a rally into Reanimate, but the problem is Centaur is a bit beefy. Oh crap, more scope buffing, huh? That is just your deal. That is your energy, your vibe, huh? Alright, well, I mean, here's the initial thought that I had behind the rally. Like, you could do a rally, right? But because of the buffs, that it is gonna only trade once. Although I guess we can get a Reanimate and see. Okay, we pulled a Wraith, which is very big, all things considering. Yeah, let's do this. We'll fear the Grendel back, take out the Armory this way. And then let's go ahead and just run our stuff upward. I know that's not, ideal. But he shouldn't have lethal combo in 3 cards with what he's got on board. Especially with all of this flooding him at the moment. I mean, that's why I like Reanimate, though. That's well, Reanimate is a strong card for that potential. I mean, you see the Peasant go into a Wraith. It is a pricey combo, but I mean, essentially you do want to get more, Peasants into the Reanimate to generate things potentially like more Wraiths, which is really what any sort of Reanimate hopes to do. No matter where it is, it's just an insanely valuable card in that regard. We're going to get an Execution fetched on the more healthier Wraith. That seems totally plausible here, but I don't think he's got any sort of gold left to... Okay, no, he does. Alright, and he hits Castle with it, which is good. We want that. We wanted that indeed. Now we get the Journey. Okay, well, I do think, as much of a waste as this might be, we might have to do the Rampaging here. Mainly because this gets us into Big Rat. I'm thankful I actually landed on the Rat, or else that would have been such a pain. And I think we go into the second rally here. We look for the rally to kind of end the game. At least that's what I'm hoping for. And if it doesn't, I've got 2 Yenoroths to kind of stall this game out to the point where sudden death is just going to hit you extremely hard. Alright, we got the Mordox, and do a little bit of chain there. A little bit of chain there, that's fine. Got anything for the Peasants? Nope, looks like he doesn't, so that's going to be the game. In the end, we will take the win. Very nice. I pulled a Bestial Rage at the end there, so, not really able to show off the Mystic side of things, but also got a little bit of a chance to show the Reanimating side. If that Centaur was beefier, I would have been able to do the 2 Peasants into it, which would have brought out the stronger Reanimate stuff, things like maybe a Horseman, to maybe even chip away the rest of the Grendel's points, so on and so forth. But overall, I think we got two great matches out of this for sure, showcasing really what Nature's Necromancy is capable of. But with that being said, I think it is about time we close the video, so let's go ahead and jump into that. Alright folks, with that being said, I hope you did enjoy this edition of Known Combos. Let me know what you guys think of the Nature Necromancy deck by leaving your thoughts down in the comment section below. And while you're down there, if you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, share with your friends, and of course subscribe if you're new or haven't done so already. It is the best way that you can show your support here to the channel. Just click that subscribe button at no additional cost to you and help us grow, all that good stuff. And yeah, with that being said guys, that's going to do it for me for now. So, until next time, stay gaming.